Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Jan Michael here. The Oscar nominations are announced on Tuesday, January 23rd, so I think now is as good a time as any to tell you what I think is going to get nominated. Now, we're not talking about winners here, just the nominees. So these will really just be in alphabetical order. So with that being said, let's get started. For Best Picture, my predictions are American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, May December, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. Right off the bat, you'll notice there's two films missing from my list, The Color Purple and Maestro. Now, Maestro, I can kind of still see maybe getting into Best Picture, but truthfully, I think that film is very underwhelming. And I think a lot of people are starting to think that as well. I've even seen some critics call this their most disappointing movie of the year. So I don't know if there's going to be that much love for it to really get into Best Picture. And it really doesn't even have Bradley Cooper in contention for acting win anymore. So I don't know. If you want to go by past statistics, if you are still thinking that Bradley is going to be a big contender for actor, keep in mind, the last few years, the performance that went on to win their acting category for the film that also won the Best Makeup was not nominated for Best Picture. You got The Eyes of Tammy Faye, you got The Whale, both not nominated for Best Picture, so by that account, then Maestro probably shouldn't get in either, right? But again, logistics and all that stuff, I always think that's doomed to fail at some point, so there's that argument. The movie on its own, I don't think is strong enough to get in, but that's just me. As for The Color Purple, don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare. Good Lord, what a fucking travesty that was. Made worse, especially because I saw the Steven Spielberg version a few days prior, and that made things so much worse. I refuse to believe this is a Best Picture contender. And if it gets nominated, I'm ready to review it and just rip it apart as how much I hated it. So, no, these two movies, out. So what am I going to put in their place? Well, first, The Zone of Interest, which isn't a huge surprise. I think most people are doing this now. And it's almost like the anti-The Color Purple. Like, The Color Purple keeps missing, and people are like, oh, it keeps getting snubbed, which for me, it's just rightfully so. No, it's not a snub. It's rightfully so not getting into various categories. But for The Zone of Interest, it's the opposite. Most people think it wasn't going to get into all these different categories, and it keeps surprising. So I think at this point, we're safe with assuming it's getting into Best Picture. And the other one you're probably not going to agree with me on is May December. Not because it's a bad film. It's a very good film. But I think maybe some of that praise is coming from the critic side of things. And general audiences are just not going to know what to do with this one. And since I do think a lot of what make up the Academy are general audiences, if you will, I think maybe it won't sneak into Best Picture. But if I don't put that in there, what do I put in its place? Because I don't think Spider-Man is going to be getting in. I think that one's already gone. All of Us Strangers, I think that's even more of a risk. So I don't know. If I don't put May December, I might as well just put Maestro, and I don't want to put Maestro. So that's what I got for you for Best Picture. For Director, my predictions are Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. No real surprise here. I think this is everybody's top 5. I think this is Gold Derby's top 5. And really, it's just hard to move anybody around, even though there are so many directors that are worthy to get in. If there was a year we needed to expand the director nominations, it was this year. Like, this could easily be a 10. I think you have Celine Song, you have Justine Triet, you have Alexander Payne, even Bradley Cooper. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Maestro, I do think his directing is very solid. I think he could get in. It would make a lot of sense. So this year, stacked with directors. But I just don't think there's a lot of wiggle room with these top 5. Maybe we'll get a surprise. Director's just one of those categories you sometimes always get surprised in by the time the nominees come out. So who knows? For now, I think I like this top 5. I'll keep it as such. And that's all I got to say about that one. For actor, My predictions are Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Once again, not a very big surprise in this category. This is a lot of people's top 5, although some people have started taking Leonardo DiCaprio out and replacing him with Coleman Domingo. I think that's very much of a possibility. His performance is one of those ones that, if he gets nominated, very much worthy of the nomination. But if he doesn't get in, I don't think anybody's going to be going, oh my god, he got snubbed, he didn't get it, how dare they? Like, there's not going to be any sort of outrage like that. And truthfully, Coleman Domingo, I think, would also be a good alternative in there. I just don't think that movie's very strong. He's like the only good thing about it. And apart from that, I don't know, maybe Andrew Scott. He's starting to get nomination with the critics, but I think that's too much of a stretch to predict here. So yeah, I think this is a very solid 5. Maybe swapping out Leo for Coleman if you'd like, but apart from that, I'm pretty much set here. For actress, my predictions are Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Greta Lee for Past Lives, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Emma Stone for Poor Things. I think the only real big surprise here is putting Greta instead of Margot, which I know Margot's starting to show up in pretty much every festivity, so it just makes sense to put her in the predictions, but I don't know. Comparing the two performances, I think Greta Lee's the stronger performance, but I get that Barbie's this huge phenomenon, so this might just be grasping at straws here. I do think Greta has a chance, though, so I gotta take risk here and there, otherwise my list is pretty much like everybody else's, and that's boring, so I don't know, call me out on this one if you want. Once the predictions come out, we will see who's in the right and who's in the wrong. For supporting actor, my predictions are Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Charles Melton for May December, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Whoo-wee, is this one going to be an exciting one. There are so many things that can happen. Does Charles get kicked out of the way and we get both Willem Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo? Does Willem take the spot of Mark? Do we get a surprise nomination from Sterling K. Brown? Does Glenn Howerton finally come in and just fucking kick everyone to the wayside and take the award? Probably not that last one. But yeah, this is one of those categories I'm going to be watching in anticipation because I hope there's some surprise, which is also going to hurt when we see, but a good hurt. It's a good hurt. Yeah, we'll go with that. For supporting actress, my predictions are Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Julianne Moore for May December, Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Yes, I know, America Ferrera, what the fuck am I thinking? You're stupid, so on and so forth. Look, I get it. Jodie Foster and Penelope Cruz are gonna both situated in a place that are just gonna maybe take that surprise fit spot, but I don't know. Truthfully, this is one of those categories we already know what's gonna happen, so let's have fun with the other nominees. And America has that great speech that everybody is quoting, everybody knows. The Golden Globes were fucking making fun of it as well, so I don't know, I think that'd be a great nominee and from a movie that a lot of people like, so why not? Why not? For original screenplay, my predictions are Air, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, May December, Past Lives. Yes, no Maestro, get it out of here, just get it out of here. Again, there is a very good chance it's going to get nominated. I don't know, again, very underwhelming. And Air does have a lot of passion behind it, so I just can't see it getting to any other category. But writing, sometimes you just get that lone nomination, or sometimes you get that nomination from the international film. So, I don't know, just something in the back of my mind tells me that if they're going to give it any sort of shout out, it'll be here. And I'm sure you all know this, but rip to Barbie in this category. It is going to go to adapted. A lot of people thinking it's going to win in adapted, but I don't know. Actually, you know what? Let's jump into that category before we get into this conversation. For adapted screenplay, my predictions are American Fiction, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. All right, what was I saying? Ah, yes, Barbie, adapted. I don't think it's gonna win. First and foremost, every single critic award, these big show awards, have all had Barbie in original screenplay. And because of that, I really don't think we have a clear picture of what people's mentality is when it goes to adapted. And I just think there's too many stronger works of writing in this category. First and foremost, Oppenheimer's doing fantastic in terms of the critics with this category. But you also have Poor Things and American Fiction, which I think are both far better written than Barbie. Not that Barbie's bad or anything. I think when you compared it to original, it still wasn't my favorite screenplay, but I could at least see why it would win there. I think just with adapted, there's too much strong competition here. And heck, there's even things that I can't believe we're not even going to be able to nominate just because this is such a stacked category. Damn the Academy, they should have just left it an original. They messed with the whole hierarchy of everything. Man. Well, what are you gonna do? This is, I think this is gonna be another exciting category to just keep an eye on and see if we get any surprises in. For film editing, my predictions are Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I guess the only weird one here is Anatomy of a Fall. Not that it's so far down other people's lists, including Gold Derby. I think it's like number 7 or 8, something like that. But a lot of other people think that maybe The Holdovers or Maestro, and I love The Holdovers. I just don't think any of its editing is very fanciful, and I know with editing, it's just one of those things they really like to see. Like, you notice the editing, and I don't think that movie has it. Maestro, yes, I could see that potentially getting in, but I think Anatomy of a Fall does have some very neat tricks, especially when you get to that whole part in the court where it jumps from the argument to the court scene. I think that's edited very well, and it's noticeable. So I think this could be your surprise nomination in this category, but once again, an exciting category that we may get a surprise. We may get a surprise, and that's always exciting. For cinematography, my predictions are Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. Another dull categories. I'm sure this 5 is everybody's 5. And I know Oppenheimer's doing very, very well with the critics, but I'm reminded of last year when Top Gun Maverick was doing very well with the critics, and it was almost unanimous. It's a done deal. It's going to get the Oscar nomination. It's going to go in with the Oscars. And then it gets snubbed for the nomination, and we're all like, what the fuck? I don't think that's going to happen with Oppenheimer. At least, I hope not. But, man, what a surprise that would be. But truthfully, what would you replace it with? Saltburn? No, I wouldn't take that risk. The Color Purple? No, don't you dare. Wait, I see you writing it down. Get rid of it. Get rid of it right now, you mother... For production design, my predictions are Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Wonka. Yes, I get that Wonka is the weird nomination here, seeing as it didn't even get into the guild for this category, but it did for costume, and as I don't want it to just have a lone nomination, as that would be weird, spoilers, I got to include it somewhere else. So here it is. A dumb move? Maybe. I got nothing more witty to say than that. For costume design, my predictions are Barbie, The Color Purple, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Wonka. Yes, I threw The Color Purple a nomination here. Like, that movie isn't 100% god-awful. There are some strong elements of it, and one of those strong elements, I feel, is the costumes. Though, I do think some of those pants at the end are kind of stupid, but I digress. It's in, and here's the second nomination for Wonka that I was talking about. That's all I got for this one. For best makeup and hairstyling, my predictions are Beau is Afraid, Golda, Maestro, Poor Things, Society of the Snow. No, Oppenheimer and makeup? Wow, Jen, that's like your boldest move yet. Which also translates into my stupidest move yet by others. Look, I get it. Like, he ages throughout the movie. Amazing, they put lines on him. I also remember at the beginning of the movie when they made him look like a young man, and I wasn't buying it, so I don't know. I think it's too many rose-tinted glasses with this film in certain aspects of it, so I just, makeup, I'm not doing it. Instead, I'm throwing Beau is Afraid on there, which has really great makeup. That one's one that they actually do make him look different ages. But there's also a dick monster in there, so maybe that's going to dissuade people. Shout out to my video for the top 10 best moments of 2023. Go give that one a look-see. And then, yeah, Society of the Snow is the other one I'm throwing on there. I haven't seen this one yet. It's on Netflix. I've heard it has really good makeup, so that one could also be the other surprise one. Golda, maybe that one doesn't make it if Oppenheimer does get in. I don't know. I think there's many various ways that this can turn out. This is one of the categories we do have the short list for, so I don't know. Take your pick. There's only so many wrongs you can get now. For sound, my predictions are The Killer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, The Zone of Interest. I know, The Killer isn't going to get any nominations, but look, it's David Fincher. His movies typically get a nomination or two, so yeah, it's a good track record, even when the film underwhelms at the Oscars. Look, if you want to play it smart, just throw Ferrari on here, because all of a sudden it's getting all these nominations, and even some wins, so that seems to be the trajectory for that film, but I gotta take risks. I liked The Killer. I want to see it get nominated for something. For original score, my predictions are The Boy and the Heron, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yes, I'm throwing 2 animated films into the score category. I don't know if both of them really will get in. I mean, the surefire thing is more Spider-Man than The Boy, but I feel we could get a surprise here. Please don't let it be like Indiana Jones surprise. That's not a good surprise. But if you want to take one of those 2 out, I guess you could throw The Zone of Interest in there. I know that's another one that has been getting nominations, even though I hear you only really hear that score like twice in the movie. So I don't know. Surprise us, just in a good way, please. For original song, my predictions are The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot, I'm Just Ken from Barbie, It Never Went Away from American Symphony, Road to Freedom from Rustin, What Was I Made For from Barbie. I feel the song category is one that we always get a surprise in, and I feel the most vulnerable right now would be It Never Went Away from American Symphony. Like, I think if we miss one, it'll be that one, and what will take its place, I have no clue. I really don't think we're gonna miss out on the Diane Warren song. I mean, she has like a fucking great track record. They just have to nominate her every single year. So I don't see why that would change this year. Although it would be a good surprise to, she doesn't need to get nominated, but pick something else. And there are other strong contenders in this area. I know maybe some people are thinking the Rustin song maybe not get in, but every single year we get one of these songs. We get one of these songs that's about freedom, standing up, all that fucking shit, and I believe Lenny Kravitz does this one, so I think it's too tantalizing to not give him a nomination, so that's what I got for you there. I do think we're going to get a surprise somewhere, just not sure how it's going to present itself here. For animated feature film, my predictions are The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Here's another category that the top 5 is pretty much everybody's top 5, but hey, recently the Annie nominations came out, and they fucking snubbed, or as I like to say, rightfully so, did not nominate Wish or Elemental. And maybe the Oscars follow suit. get rid of fucking Elemental. What would you put in its place? Well, I think Suzume has pretty much proven itself to be a good contender to get in there. Maybe the Super Mario Bros. Movie gets in, though I truly do think there are better animated films, though I really did like Super Mario Bros. Movie. And I don't know if there's justice. A lot of people are saying the first Slam Dunk, which made a lot of people cry, but if Demon Slayer did not get nominated, and that one made the most money out of any anime movie, I don't see the first Slam Dunk getting nominated, so Suzume, I think, is your best hope there. But whatever the case may be, leave it like this. It's kind of dull. Get rid of Elementals. Give us a big surprise. For animated short, my predictions are Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Once Upon a Studio, Pachyderm, Pete. I have been checking out a lot of the animated shorts, at least the ones that I can actually get my hands on, and I have seen all 5 of these. I think all 5 of these are very worthy of getting the nomination, but there's also a lot that I just haven't been able to see. Going on Gold Derby, they do have certain picks that are close to the top that I haven't been able to verify if it's actually going to be strong or not, and I don't think Gold Derby is always the best place to make your predictions for the shorts. That being said, I don't know, if you've seen some of the shorts, please let me know, because these are those categories that a lot of people always vary in the dark about. Even when the lists come out, it's hard to find a lot of these. So let me know if you agree with my picks here, and let's move on. For Best International Feature Film, my predictions are Fallen Leaves from Finland, The Monk and the Gun from Bhutan, Society of the Snow from Spain, The Teacher's Lounge from Germany, The Zone of Interest from United Kingdom. A couple of surprises here. First, I don't have the taste of things on here. And the reason for it is because I've heard a lot of people say how dumb France was for not submitting Anatomy of a Fall as their international feature. So part of me thinks that a lot of people are going to go, well, you know what, France? Now we're not going to nominate the taste of things. So how do you like that? Maybe that's me overthinking things, but I don't know. I feel like that's a possibility there. The second one is The Monk and the Gun. This is from the same person who did Lunala, A Yak in the Classroom last year, I believe it was. And I know that one probably wasn't the strongest of picks, but I've heard this one is stronger. This is the better film. And so if that one got nominated, why wouldn't I think this one would not get nominated? So I have to throw it in there. So I don't know. I think this is another one that we could get surprises, but ultimately, so this is the Zone of Interest's award. It would be very shocking if it didn't win. Now it's just to see what else is nominated along with it. For documentary feature film, my predictions are 20 Days in Mariupol, American Symphony, Beyond Utopia, 4 Daughters, Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni Project. I'm sure the 2 movies you're surprised are not on my predictions is first, still a Michael J. Fox movie, and The Eternal Memory. I've really got no excuse for The Eternal Memory. Something in the back of my mind is telling me that's not going to get nominated, so but for still a Michael J. Fox movie, that is a prime candidate for The Curse to Devour. Why have we not talked about the documentary Curse? That used to be prevalent in the discussions every year, and I barely have heard anybody mention it this year. But yeah, we've not seen The Curse hit. It's probably because documentaries kind of been a little bit lackluster this year, but I think it's still prime and hungry and ready to attack something, and I think still a Michael J. Fox movie is going to be its target. I mean, that movie's been doing fantastically with the critics, so ultimately it's gotta be sacrificed. I'm sorry. So a moment of silence for still a Michael J. Fox movie. Rest in peace. I know it's not dead yet, but I'm just getting prepared. I'm just getting prepared. For documentary short, my predictions are The ABCs of Book Banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Camp Courage, Deciding Vote, The Last Repair Shop. I have also been checking out the documentary shorts, but unlike the animated short ones, I do think the ones that I have been able to see are pretty weak. I mean, there are some good ones on here, like Deciding Vote. I think that one's very strong. The Last Repair Shop I also think is very good. Even Camp Courage, I think it could miss depending on how the other ones are, but it's still strong enough. So the other two I threw on here are just ones that I've heard are very strong. So please take that with a grain of salt. I can't back that up myself. It's just what I have heard. So ultimately, this is what I got for this category. For visual effects, my predictions are The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Poor Things, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Another one that I think is pretty generic. I'm pretty sure this is a lot of people's top 5. We did get the shortlist with this one, so I mean, if you want to go crazy, go for it. There wasn't anything else on here that I thought, oh yeah, that one could definitely surprise. I didn't feel any of that anyway. Not that we won't get a surprise, just I wasn't feeling it. So take that however you like. We've got one more category left, so let's finish this up. For live action short, my predictions are The Anne Frank Gift Shop, Invincible, The Shepherd, Strange Way of Life, The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar. We have a lot of shorts this year with famous people in them. And so I need to start off this video with what I say every single year. Just because there is somebody very big and famous behind the camera or in front of it does not mean it's going to get nominated. For instance, I very much see The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar not getting in. And the only reason I've even included it is because, once again, like the other shorts, there wasn't a lot I could get my hands on, and the few things I did, either I didn't think were strong enough, or I don't think anybody's really going to be going for it. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. I know a lot of people have the after on here for their predictions, and truthfully, goddamn, is that melodramatic as hell. That seems like the prime one that people are like, oh, but it's got this person in it, and it doesn't get nominated. Also, sometimes, you know, the popular one that is winning doesn't go on to get nominated. I always think of last year when the Bear documentary short was getting wins left and right, nominated for the award, and then it doesn't get the nomination. So just be careful with the shorts. Just because it's a famous person in it or behind the camera does not mean it's going to get nominated. Learn this lesson. So, I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. Again, there's not a lot you can do if you can't even see them. You just have to take your best guess, which is what I did here. And those are my predictions for the 2024 Oscars. What did you think? Am I right on the money? Have I taken too many risks? Am I stupid? Am I smart? Am I handsome? Am I charming? Am I none of the above? I don't know. Just tell me what you would pick down below. And yeah, stay tuned. The Oscar nominations are going to be announced on Tuesday, January 23rd. I have to work that day. So for the first time, I am going to get up super early to try to watch these nominations live. I'm going to hate myself for it, but I'll do it because otherwise I'll have to stay away from the internet and be tortured all day wondering, oh, what could the nominations be, in fear of being spoiled. And I do like to get my reactions out with you guys, genuine reactions. So yeah, just keep a lookout for that video. If it doesn't come out during the day, it will be later on at night, but I will try my best to get it out on that day. So bear with me here. Yes, we're there. We're there. The Oscar seasons are in full swing. So please, guys, until that next video, stay safe out there and have a good one.